Well, life is never dull for an Australian ambassador in Washington, but sometimes the distance between Australia and the United States can be a bit testing, and it is on this occasion, because there is nothing I'd like better than to be with my old friend Don DeBats and all of you at Flinders University at this, which I think is one of the first conferences organised by the Centre for US and Asia Pacific Studies, discussing themes and issues of critical importance to Australia. One of the things I look forward to when I finally finish up here is the opportunity to come over and participate in these sorts of seminars based on an experience of a few years here in the US. The interesting thing in the 2 years I've been here is this, that more and more the United States has come to be most interested in that aspect of their dialogue with us that relates to our mutual view about the Asia Pacific region. The essence of the change in direction of US policy which has occurred in the Obama administration is that it's not a new thing that in its pivot to the Asia Pacific that the United States should be so engaged, but it's really the geographic dimension of that engagement. During the Cold War, the US was thoroughly engaged in affairs in North Asia, and it has remained that way since the end of the Cold War. What's new is the shift of American focus to the Southeast Asian area. In fact, it could be said that a more correct definition of the US pivot would not be so much a new priority assigned the Asia Pacific region, but a new priority assigned the Indian Ocean and Pacific oceans, and American activities with allies and friends and interactions with countries on the littoral of those two great oceans. Now that's interesting given some of the maritime materials that will be discussed in the security section of the conference that you're going to be engaged in. This pivot of the United States to the region, whilst wholly generated, of course, by decisions within this US administration, nevertheless has an important Australian component. And the Americans have been engaged in the discussion of reorienting US priorities will always pay tribute to the fact that it was Australia who so regularly belled the cat with them on the need for them to comprehend the focal point of the global political system in this century. And in this century, a global political system will be, as it often has been, of course, dominated by economic relationships. And gradually, steadily, the Asia-Pacific region is emerging as the locomotive of the global economy. So the studies that you're doing, the conferences in which you're engaging, the purposes now established for this new centre, hopefully, and I'm confident they will be, hopefully will be at the cutting edge of the development of policy, at least in our country, in Australia, if not more broadly, over the course of the next few years and decades. Sorry again that I can't be with you. Congratulations again, Don, getting together such a good program. Probably see you next when you're over, as you often have been, with that excellent program of interns that you organise at the US Congress and have been running very effectively for the last 14 years.